Hey, what's going on out there? I would like to welcome every single one of you to Water Your Soil. So before I get into this video, I would like to say, if you're new around here, I have two rules over at this channel. The first rule is for you to always use your own discretion when it comes to credit cards and credit scores. The second rule, that's for you to verify everything that you learn, whether it's here on this channel, another channel, or anywhere. That should be a rule to life. So getting into the video, this video is going to be a little different from the normal videos that I've done. And I just want to take out the time to talk to you all, especially regarding credit cards. And I don't want you all to go and make the same mistake, the major mistake that I made. And I'm going to explain this to you. This is going to be a story. Now, this story is 100% transparent. This is not made up. This is not to mislead you or misguide you. This story is 100% transparent and is my story. So, for those of you who are new here, you probably haven't heard this story. But for those of you who are subscribers to this channel and you know a little bit about this Water Your Soil channel, you're probably familiar with how my journey got started when it comes to credit cards and credit scores. Now, this video in particular is going to be about credit cards, but I might go off track a little bit and talk about credit scores. We'll see how it goes. But the reason why I'm making this video is because, oftentimes people come by and they'll leave comments and they'll say things like, hey, credit cards aren't for me, or credit scores aren't for me, or they have a certain mentality towards credit cards and credit scores. Now, granted, I had the same mentality, and this is why I decided to share this video. So my journey may be similar to yours, or it may not be similar to yours. But I started out my journey in 2006. So I had a Best Buy credit card that I signed up for, and I was surprised when I was approved for this card. Now, they only approved me for a credit limit of $300 because back then my finances weren't intact. And not only were my finances not intact, I also didn't have any credit history. So they decided to approve me. I don't know how or why, but they approved me for a $300 credit limit with a Best Buy card. Now, granted, I didn't know what I was doing with this card. I just knew that I had to pay whenever I have a bill. And of course, being someone that doesn't know about credit card utilization or any of the other important factors that goes into a credit card and managing it the correct way, I decided to pay the minimum payment. So I would max out the card, pay the minimum payment. I did this for a couple of years, and I knew that I always had the Best Buy card in my back pocket. Eventually, Best Buy switched banks, so the bank that I was initially with switched over. Now, they sent me information in the mail, and I really didn't pay it any mind because, granted, back then, I didn't know how this credit card thing works. I just was happy to have a credit card. So around 2009, I knew that my credit wasn't in the place that I needed to be. Now, here's where I went wrong. Back then, I wasn't taking finance serious. I was young, and when you're younger, sometimes you think you know everything, and you think you know everything about life. And I really put my finances on the back burner. I'm not talking about making money. I think everyone, for the most part in life, has a knack to go out and make money, but I'm talking about the foundation. I wasn't concerned with credit scores. I wasn't concerned with saving. I wasn't concerned with investing and things like that. I just was concerned with, hey, I need a job to go and make money so I could go out and buy things. Never mind saving up for something or investing, or never mind having a credit score so I could actually go out and get things. Now, to rewind a little bit, I didn't come from an environment where financial literacy was a thing. People knew how to make money, of course. That was the main concern. But as far as investing and saving and things like that, it wasn't really a thing. We were just taught to stay away from credit cards. And of course, you have people that would go out and get credit cards and they would max them out and they would end up ruining their credit scores. But our financial literacy wasn't that good. I grew up on the east side of Buffalo, New York, and anyone who knows anything about the east side of Buffalo, New York, especially in the 80s and 90s, it was filled with a lot of poverty, a lot of drugs, a lot of crime, and it really wasn't that environment where I was going to find an abundance of sources to get financial literacy. I would literally have had to go out and seek it, and I wasn't concerned with it, just being honest. So fast forward to around 2009, I was dating a woman and she was like, hey, you need to start, at least trying to consider getting a credit card because I have credit cards, both personal and corporate. and they helped me out a great deal. So I was like, you know what, cool, I'm gonna go out and apply for a credit card. Now I went out and I applied for a card. I believe it was at Banana Republic or Express. It was one of those two stores. I believe it was Banana Republic. And I was denied. And I felt so bad and discouraged when I was denied. And a lot of you may be at that place where you feel discouraged that you were denied for a specific credit card that you went after. Or you could be discouraged because you were rejected for an auto loan or whatever it may be, home loan. It could be anything, but discouragement from getting rejected is a thing. And I've been through that multiple times, and you're going to find that out as I continue with the story. So I was rejected. Now, the thing that I should have done back then, back in 2009, is got on my grind and learned about credit scores and how to increase credit scores. That way I could be able to get approved for the card. But I didn't. And I still didn't take things financially seriously like I should have. So from 2009 to 2014, I pretty much was just working a job and just was concerned with working a job and making money. And I really wasn't concerned with increasing my credit score during that time. I knew it was something that I eventually had to do, but I kept putting it off. And that's the mistake that I don't want you all to do. Continue to put it off. Don't continue to put it off. Be aggressive with it. Be aggressive with learning as much as you can about credit scores and credit cards. Be assertive with it. And there's a reason why I'm telling you this. So during that time, between '09 and 2014, eventually I came to a point where I needed my credit score, and having a credit card and credit history would have worked in my favor. So this is what happened. In 2014, I started gaining interest in credit cards and credit scores. I started watching videos on YouTube. I came across different videos and I was just learning about the basics. And I was like, I'm getting to the point in life where I do need my credit score and I do need to start building up my credit score. So how can I go about doing it? So I was learning about secured cards and all different types of things during that time. And I was like, hey, I got a Best Buy card and I'm going to see if it's still open. Now, it's a good thing that I decided to see if the Best Buy card was still open, because had I gone to the store and tried to purchase something, they would have told me that the card was no longer open, and that would have been added embarrassment. So I decided to call the number that was on the back of my card, and they told me that my account was closed. It actually closed down a couple of months before I decided to call. And this is more further proof that procrastination will catch up with you sooner than later. So I had to close down card, and as you all know, a closed down account, especially in that predicament, because that would have given me the credit age when it came to that specific card, it ended up hurting my credit score. And then I got a new job and I was in a predicament where I needed a new car. I had a used car and a used car needed a motor. So what do people do when they need a new car? You go to the auto dealership. And I told myself I didn't want to go and do buy here, pay here, because at that time, like I stated, I had been learning about credit cards and credit scores and how buy here, pay here places have high interest rates. So I didn't want to go that route. But I wasn't in a position to not have to go that route. I wasn't, not in regards to credit scores. I didn't have a credit score to avoid going that route. So I went to numerous dealerships and was declined, and they told me I didn't have a credit score, and I just started my new job, so I didn't have enough proof of work and things like that. Just a whole embarrassing process, just rejection after rejection after rejection. I might have went to at least 5 dealerships or more and were rejected, and those higher inquiries were just adding up because every time they were running my credit report. The hard inquiries ended up adding up so much. With one credit bureau, I had 13 hard inquiries, and the other, I had 26. I literally had 26 hard inquiries with TransUnion. 26. I don't know how it doubled, but it did. I ended up with 26. And I was just in a bad place. It was embarrassing. My credit score was in the 500s, and I was in a bad, embarrassing place. And it was my fault. It was no one else to blame. So I had went to a relative of mine, and I asked them to co-sign for me. And they did the most important thing in my life up until that point. They simply told me no. And some of you may be like, hey, that's kind of messed up that your relative would tell you no. But it was the best thing that happened to me, because prior to that moment, I had been making excuses. I had been procrastinating. I had just been going with the get along and just going along. And I know a lot of you out there watching this, maybe you're new to this channel, maybe you're not. You're probably in that situation as well, and you're just making excuses as to why you shouldn't start your journey, and you're making excuses as to why you should continue to procrastinate and just blow it off. And people come by here all the time, like I always state, and they say, hey, credit scores aren't important. You don't need credit scores. Credit scores are for this people. Credit scores are for that people. And just make all type of excuses. And hey, I don't have the money to get a credit card. I don't have the money to increase my credit score. And every excuse that you use, I've been there before, just about every. I'm not going to say all excuses, because there are some that I haven't been there before. But if you're talking finances, just about every excuse that people come by here and use, I've been there before. I'm talking about low, embarrassing low, not as a child, not just as a child, because I told you all that I spent majority of my childhood in poverty. I'm talking about as an adult. All right. So I've been there before, and I'm just telling you all, it could get ugly. But the best thing that happened was my relative telling me no on the cosign. And sometimes you need that kick in the butt. And yeah, I was disappointed and mad at them during that time. But as time went on, I respected them more and more for what they did, because what they did is like that fire in me that I needed in order to jumpstart my journey. And then from that moment, I ended up getting approved for a car. I got the car and had to return it, which was another embarrassing moment. And that was the final straw. After that, I just went on a spree, learning as much as I can about credit scores, learning as much as I can about personal finances. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. There's no more making excuses. There's no more procrastinating. I'm going to get my credit score together. I'm going to get to the point where I learn as much as I need to about credit cards, and I'm going to make this work. And I ended up going from the 500s to the 800s. It took me 3.5 years, but I ended up doing it. But it was that rejection that led me to that point, and it was the embarrassment and getting told by my relative no in regard to the cosign. And sometimes we need that in life. A lot of times, those of you out there, you want people to do things for you. You want them to do credit repair for you. You want them to help you repair your credit. I'm here to tell you right now, looking into this camera, you do not need someone to repair your credit for you 9 times out of 10. Of course, there probably are circumstances where it would help. However, for the most part, you can repair and increase your credit score on your own. You just need knowledge and determination. That's how I did it. I didn't pay anyone to help increase my credit score. It took time. It took patience. 3.5 years, that's a long time. But if you pay attention to time and how fast time ticks, you'll know that time is on your side when it comes to chasing a goal like that. So never feel that you're out of it. Never feel like your low point as far as credit scores and credit cards is going to be the end game, because you can increase your score. You can get approved for credit cards eventually, but it's going to take some work. And I just want you all out there to know, do not make the mistake that I made, because it was a huge mistake. And the mistake was procrastinating and constantly blowing it off and constantly ignoring the importance of having a good or excellent credit score. I don't want you all to do that. Yes, do not procrastinate when it comes to credit scores and credit cards. If it's a credit card that you desire and you don't currently qualify for it, work your way up to the point where you will qualify for it. But I just wanted to share this with you all, because I know there are some of you out there who may be in that same predicament that I was in. I'm not perfect. I'm not an expert. I'm not a guru. I'm not any of those things. I'm a normal person just like you are. And we all go through things in life, and we all have different stages in life. And I just wanted to share with you all my journey and let you all know I wasn't handed a good or excellent credit score, nor was I an authorized user on people's credit card accounts. I had to earn all of that. And that's what I want for you all. But anyways, if you're new around here and you feeling the vibe, this is Water Your Soil. Be sure to hit the subscribe button, turn on all notifications. That way you don't miss a future video, because I post often. That's clicking on that bell and selecting all. Also, this goes to every single one of you, my subscribers included. Be sure to hit the like button. It literally takes 1 second. Hit the like button. That's your way of letting the algorithm know you support this video and this channel. I just wanted to share my story with you all. I hope you all gain something from it. This is Warrior Soil. I appreciate you all for watching, and I'm out. Hey, what's going on? This is Nell from Warrior Soil. So as someone who went from a 549 credit score all the way up to the 800s, I decided to share the same information that helped me go from poor credit to excellent credit. This book is titled Strategies to Master Credit. I put everything in this book, everything that helped me go from poor credit to excellent credit. All of the information is in this book. So I want you all to purchase this book. A lot of you have already purchased it, but it's available currently right now on Amazon.com and also MasterCreditBook.com. It's titled Strategies to Master Credit. You want this book. It has all the information needed in order for you to go from poor credit to excellent credit, or just simply maintain your good or excellent credit score. So get the book ASAP. And if you want something more in depth, you could take the course over at www.wateryoursoil.com. It's more in depth. There are actually chapters in this course, and it walks you through basically how FICO credit scores come about and how they're determined. And really, once you learn how FICO scores come about and the concept of credit scores, then you're pretty much on your way to either going from poor credit to good credit, or just maintaining a good or excellent credit score. So if you want something more in depth, I have the course over at www.wateryoursoil.com. All right.